Hi guys!
And welcome back to our channel!
Oh goodness.
We're a flustered mess.
I have no idea how this video is going to go.
We need to calm down. We've had a busy morning. Amber's napping, but we're behind schedule because usually we film the videos when she's napping, but we're about an hour late, so she's going to wake up any minute.
Yeah. I've been down, the courier came to collect all of the Whittaker house parcels, and he came a bit later than expected, so Carys ditched me and came back with Amber, and I just got an Uber back. Really great first experience there, but at least they went off on the day they were meant to.
Yeah, thank goodness. So all your packages are out now.
I literally came into the house and I was like, the camera's set up, we're going to do a sit down video.
Sit down now, we're doing that video. Because I'm not going to have time otherwise.
Oh, at least I made a cup of tea.
Yeah, I made you a cup of tea. James just spilt my hot chocolate everywhere, guys. And it was in our lovely Whittaker house mug as well. And now it's just
gone everywhere. You told me they're
everywhere.
not spill proof. That's
Not when you jolt it with your arm. Oh my gosh, I did the orange hot chocolate.
It's nice.
Have you tried it?
No. I'm just not
The
being
velvetizer.
Ooh. Oh my god, it's amazing. That actually tastes like Terrace chocolate orange, even though it's not. It's
but better.
that hotel company, but not quite.
I'm still not drinking cups of tea. With this pregnancy, it's just so weird. A cup of tea just, see that's hot chocolate all over the table. A cup of tea just makes me feel in this pregnancy, so I'm just going with hot chocolate.
Because you've had like a couple, haven't you? Give it a go. You're determined to get back into it.
I'm desperate. I love a cup of tea, like honestly. Right, anyway, we've not got time to babble.
I stand as straight as a soldier.
We thought
so that I can get a smoke from
little
my
heads in there.
Hello.
We thought we would do a sit-down video, a bit of a chat, like a health update, chatting about all the hospital appointments and everything that we have had whilst we've been offline. So we were offline for about, I think it ended up
I love how we're so connected that even I've been in hospital. I also had bowel problems. Was that Wheel of Fortune? I heard it and I was like, don't react, James, don't react. Carys is pregnant, everything's fine. Don't react, just keep going on the video. And then you started laughing and I was like, Carys, don't give away the fact you farted. We were having a really good flow there.
Giving away that I fart when I'm pregnant.
I'm not giving it away, but it's more common, isn't it? Is that just something I've made up in my head? I always think, is this just, do women just blame everything on being pregnant? Sorry, love, I have to fart out loud because I'm pregnant.
Everything I do, I say, I'm pregnant. That was the cutest little fart. It was like,
they don't even react.
Thank you so much for pretending that I didn't fart when you thought I did.
Hello. Oh, you're great.
Hiya.
Hello.
Hello, who's there?
Who's there?
So we have a little bit of a jump break insert into this video because we've got to use the hard tiles to show you guys the Casetify drop test. Now, you guys know we have been using Casetify for blooming heck so long. We love it so much. The new iPhone 14 has just been released by Apple, and Casetify, we don't have the iPhone 14s yet, but Casetify have a new a new protection technology called EcoShock, which comes with the iPhone 14 Impact series on Casetify, and it has 20% more protection more protection than these. I'm going to show them the drop test.
So Carys and Amber are now going to do the drop test. We always like to get Amber involved in these bits.
Swap these phones.
It's alright, I kind of didn't actually get that hit the floor.
And it's safe and sound.
Can you show me that the phone case is all fine and that the screen isn't cracked at all? There's just so many kind of cases to choose from on the website. So many kind of designs that you can customise them, put your initials on, etc, etc.
And they use recyclable materials. I'm just throwing in all the things I love.
Just throwing them all in.
You guys know we love Casetify. I can't recommend it enough.
I know. Thank you Casetify for sponsoring this video. If you're interested in shopping, then use our link, casetify.com/JamesandCarys, and that gives you 15% off your order.
Oh, thank you Casetify, we love you.
Back to living room James and Carys now.
So, yeah, we were offline for about 6 weeks-ish.
In the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we filmed the first trimester vlog, which obviously covered like basically the first 12 weeks of the pregnancy, which literally everything you saw in that vlog was basically what we did. I just moped around crying and being sick.
That's basically what we did. Carys lay in bed.
Yeah. And I was just really upset the whole time. So nothing exciting happened then. But then I think at the end of that vlog, I was basically like saying, oh my God, like I'm feeling better. I think everything's going to be better. now.
It's like, honestly, it's like a TV series, and then they do next time. It's like Carys lying in hospital in serious pain.
I know, honestly, like you can't make it up. But not even that, but just that. I remember at the end of that vlog, I was like, I think my sickness is gone now. Like, and then I think it was literally like 3 days later, I had the most mortifying, worst sickness experience.
Mortifying worst. That does sound horrific.
Mortifying worst. It's not even that bad, but it just was for me. So any emetophobia people might want to skip past this, but I thought I'd just share this for anyone that has experienced something similar and needs to feel normal or just wants to laugh at my experience. It's not that funny. Do you remember this in the park?
That was after you finished the first trimester.
Yeah, that was after that. That was literally after I'd gone like, oh my god, things are just really getting better now. Then like my sickness just carried on for like weeks, like longer, and I was just there like, oh no. But anyway,
because you were going to start a second trimester vlog, and I think you were like, no, because I can't do a second trimester vlog. That's just me crying and being sick.
It's okay. I feel fine now. It's hard. I'm a bit into what am I? 17 weeks, 18 weeks in 2 days. 18 weeks on the day this video goes up. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better now. Like I'm normal. I'm back to myself. It's fine. But anyway, we took Amber to the park. I was feeling like not very well, and at this point,
I'm hungry. That's why.
Yeah, I was like, I'm really hungry. Like when I got too hungry, I would just be sick. So I was like, we need to go and get something now. So we went to Subway. We got something, and we had this little Subway bag. Thank goodness. I had my Subway salad. Sat down in the park. I just wanted to tell everyone I was pregnant because I felt like such an annoying person. Like you were literally running around with the baby and I was there eating a Subway salad, like on the bench, like, and everyone's probably looking at me like,
I need to eat now.
You could wait 5 minutes till you get out the park, can't you? Like, or eat that and go play with your child in the park, then eat your Subway salad. I wanted to have a badge, like I'm pregnant, I really need to eat my salad. Anyway, I ate my salad thinking that would make me feel so much better, but it didn't. I felt so much worse. And then I basically
glancing over at you, like just sitting there. Like...
I was so sad because I've never thrown up in a public place, only ever when I'm pregnant and only ever in my toilet. So I had to be sick.
So you left the park?
I left the park.
You were like, I need to stop.
I was like, I've got to go, I'm going to be sick. And I was like, pass me the Subway bag. You were like trying to save your sandwich.
Yeah, I pulled my sandwich out.
You were like, all right, give me a minute then, give me a sandwich.
Whoa, put it back in now. Put it back in.
Hold it down, let me give a sandwich, and now you can go. Now, I don't know why.
You just walked over to a tree, bless. Sorry, do you want to do it in your
No,
you
but I was just going to laugh at the fact, when I told your mum this, she was like, why didn't you just do it in the bin? But that just felt even more horrendous, like leaning over a bin.
That's more public, obviously.
Yeah. And also I just felt like I looked like the mum who couldn't stop eating her salad, then was probably looked hungover.
10 o'clock on a Sunday.
I know.
It definitely looked as if you were hungover.
I know, and I just wanted to scream like, I'm pregnant, I feel really rubbish. But anyway, yeah, I went and sat by a little tree trunk and just threw up in my Subway bag and cried my eyes out. And then Amber was running up to me like...
And I always feel so terrible in these times because I really want to support you and be there for you. I know. But then I want to keep Amber away because she just gets so confused, bless her. And I know you did your story in the first trimester that everyone... It was sad and cute at the same time.
Yeah,
but I want to keep her away, but then she just wants to run towards you, and I want to look after you.
But then you came afterwards, after I'd stopped being sick, and that was nice then, because I just sat there crying. Yeah. And that was sad. So that was a fun thing that you guys missed.
Again, like, please do move on if you don't like to talk like this. The bag was heavy. I picked the bag and put it in the bin. It was a heavy bag.
Honestly, Subway salad weighs a lot.
I know. How much had you eaten the morning before the salad?
Well, I had breakfast and then I did shovel my Subway salad. I don't think it even got to the bottom of my throat before I... Anyway, so it was a hefty bag though, and it was full.
It's a paper kind of brown bag, so you couldn't see through it.
Oh, yeah. A plastic one would have somehow been even worse. Anyway, enough talk about sick. That was just my lowest point in the pregnancy, and I missed it in the first trimester vlog. I missed telling you guys about it, so I thought I'd have to catch you up here.
We could just call this, that one time Carys threw up in a public space. That's what the title of the podcast is.
Yeah, I know, that's the thing, like, it's probably so normal, not normal to some people, but I don't know, I just find it amazing when people like are sick when they're hungover or whatever, and they're just like so chilled about it. They'll just like go to a bush and be sick. Like in uni, I used to see people doing that.
Did you?
Yeah, like stumbling home after a night out, or like I guess when you're drunk,
you don't get embarrassed until the next day.
You don't know what's happening.
If you remember it, then
That's
you're embarrassed the next day.
Yeah, I just make such a kerfuffle about it all, don't I?
No, you don't.
It's so traumatizing.
That was really like, I think to be sick in a public space, especially when you really feel unwell, like.
You don't feel well enough to deal with it.
And not only in a public space, but a busy public space. Into
Very
a bag.
busy.
At like 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning, where everyone probably just thinks like, oh,
I'm hungover, yeah.
Hungover with a baby in a car.
So if anyone saw me in the park and stuck in a subway bag, I'm feeling good. Anyway.
And then you sat there crying afterwards, which I felt terrible about, but I felt the need to hold up a sign going, I promise I haven't done anything.
I know, because it looked like I was just
Because
really
whenever I
sad.
walk past, like someone crying, I'm like, he's breaking up with her.
Yeah.
Or she's breaking up with him.
Or like you just want to ask, like, what's he done?
Are you okay?
Are you okay?
Do you want me to take this
I
person
could- yeah.
away?
I know, literally. Anyway, so that's the first story. And then, basically quite soon after that, we were, if you follow my Instagram stories, you would have seen like all the updates on this anyway, but we were basically travelling for a meeting in Manchester, and we went up. I felt absolutely fine in the day, and then like my sickness had really gone, so like I wasn't really having much pregnancy symptoms by then. I think I was, well no, my sickness was still there, but I think I was about 13, 14 weeks, I can't remember. It was still there.
It was still there.
I was having good and
I remember
bad.
after the hospital you went back to having morning
I
sickness again.
did, because I was like, this is the end. No, it never felt like the end. I think 15 weeks it stopped. Anyway, yeah, we went up for this meeting in Manchester, went to the hotel room, we were like feeling exhausted. Everything was fine, got into bed, felt kind of fine, felt a bit like, oh, gosh, I'm exhausted. Had like a funny tummy, like my bump just felt a bit sensitive. Anyway, I went to bed, I was like tossing and turning, and my like stomach pain was just getting worse and worse. And I like was kind of snoozing on and off and waking up and being like, gosh, I'm so uncomfortable, like what is happening? And then I think about 2 a.m. I was in like a lot of pain, like I had loads of pain kind of here, and it was like traveling down my side, and I woke up, and like I would never usually wake James up even if I was feeling like, unless I like felt like I needed to tell you something. So the fact I woke him up, I feel like you knew that like I must have been feeling bad, because I was like, I was like, I don't know why, but I told you I was going to the toilet.
Yeah, you said.
It's like I knew
Yeah.
something was going to happen. I was like, look, I was like, James, I've woken up, I feel my tummy feels really bad. I'm going to the toilet now just in case anything happens. I literally said that, not thinking.
I think you just say, yeah, I just thought I'd let you know. And then when you were in the toilet, I heard you go, I'm feeling faint.
Yeah, I was, so I walked to the toilet, my bump was in agony, and like, the whole room just started spinning. I've never passed out in my life, I've never fainted or anything. And I don't really remember anything after that, obviously, but you heard me say...
I heard you say, I'm feeling faint. And so I got out of bed, like I wasn't running, but I got out and walked quickly to the toilet, and then I just saw Carys kind of like just in a dark toilet, the bathroom, just kind of in the corner, like wobbling like this, and I was like, what is she doing? And then the next thing you like fell. Luckily you fell into me like I was just on the doorway in the hallway, and you fell into me, and I just caught you and kind of lightly laid you on the floor.
And I was passed out. Like, I don't know, I've never passed out.
Sorry, I was laughing at something else. I wasn't laughing at that. I was laughing at what happened next, but you know.
Oh, right. What? Oh, yeah.
Just kind of.
Yeah, that is funny. So yeah, thank goodness James caught me, because I passed out, which is the weirdest feeling ever, because then I woke up on the floor and I could just hear James going, everybody stay calm.
I didn't say everybody.
Stay calm, everything's fine, I'm calling 999. I was like, James, where am I? And you were like, stay calm, I've got this. I was like,
panicking.
you're anything but calm. What's happening?
So I lay you down, and we literally that day. Okay,
Yes, we had.
This is why I was stressing. So we that day
had.
went to the scan, the 12-week
course.
scan. So it was 12 weeks. That's exactly when it was.
Yeah.
So we went to the 12-week
But no,
scan.
we went at the 12-week scan at 13 weeks.
Okay, so we went to the 12-week scan at 13 weeks.
Okay.
And you had the appointment with the midwife, and she was like,
Yeah.
oh, you must have had preeclampsia really bad because they gave you this drug, and wow, they must have really thought you were going to start, having a seizure. So we were like, oh, okay. And then...
You had
she was
seizure
lovely.
in your head.
Yeah. I had seizure, and then she was like, and obviously preeclampsia, you might have it again, you're going to be consultant-led. And obviously it's not, well, I don't know whether it would come on that early, but I was convinced you were going to start fitting.
Really?
So I put you into a recovery position on the floor. Aww. All the lights are on in the room now, and then I ran to the phone, the room phone, dialed 999, and then realised I'd unplugged it to go to bed, because I hate the little red light.
You'll never do that again.
It was on my side of the bed, so I unplugged it. So I was like, oh no. So then I got my phone, and then by the time I got my phone, it must have been about 30 seconds, all I heard was, where am I?
Where am I?
And that's when I started going, don't panic! So I then ran back over to you.
Oh, bless
I went,
you.
don't panic, I'm calling 999. And
It
you were
was
like,
so good.
what happened? Like, just so chilled. What happened?
What happened then? That felt nice for a minute because I was passed out and didn't feel any
You were
pain.
groggy. And
So
then I eventually
anyway.
got and then you was saying how, and then I didn't call 999 instantly, but you were saying how much pain you were in, to the point that you, like, Carys literally physically couldn't move off the floor. She was in so much pain with her stomach and kind of down the side. So I did call 999 because you literally couldn't move.
I couldn't move. It was so strange.
Yeah.
So yeah, I basically then was lying down. You got me a pillow, you got the duvet and put it over me because I was really cold.
Yeah.
And
Just in the hallway, it was like this little kind of dressing area outside the toilet.
I was just lying out there and I just couldn't move. Like, even my knees were bent upwards, and even to kind of try and extend my legs, it was like excruciating pain. And I was like, I don't know how long I can wait here. But anyway, we called the ambulance. They came. And
you were on the floor.
Yeah, I was on the floor for hours, wasn't I? Yeah, but it didn't
we
feel
called the
that
ambulance,
long.
and then like an hour and a half later we had a phone call from the GP.
Yeah.
And you were feeling slightly like in less pain, but you still didn't want to move off the floor.
Amber slept the whole time.
She went back to sleep. I turned the lights back off in the main room and she went back to sleep.
And we just chilled and like we tried to calm down.
We tried to kind of change convo.
Yeah, because I was in so much pain, like I needed distracting. But
and that's the thing, even if you got to the point that you were in less pain that I could get you to the car, I was terrified of carrying Amber to the car and then you fainted again and not being able to catch you because I was carrying Amber, so it just wasn't possible.
We did at one point try and sit me up, and it didn't go well. I went all fuzzy, so we went back. I lay back down on the floor. Anyway,
and obviously you don't want to fall at the best of times, so you don't know if you're pregnant.
I know, exactly. So yeah, we called the ambulance. They came. They were amazing. They took me in, and on the way in, so James stayed with Amber obviously, and I went in with them. And on the way in, I nearly passed out like another 2 times and was throwing up a lot, and not morning sickness, like vomit. It was just, I don't know what it was, and my body just was not happy. Yeah, so then basically we ended up spending almost a week in Manchester with me in hospital, them doing tests and all sorts. You know, I was terrified at the time that it was something to do with the baby. That's what I thought it was right from the start. I thought it was something to do with the bump. And there was, you know, quite a long wait when I first got in. Luckily I had like a bed, I had somewhere nice to wait, but I was in so much pain and I was just waiting, and I just wanted someone to tell me that the baby was okay. And I was really
like
emotional.
6 hours, wasn't it, until you saw a doctor who kind of did the ultrasound scan.
Give me an ultrasound, yeah, I kept like, obviously you were coming in. But
I was there probably like an hour after you got in. I was like, I just need to go. So obviously when the ambulance people came, Amber woke up, but even if she didn't, I would have come in. Yeah. And I eventually found you in the ambulance waiting area on a gurney.
Yeah, but then with Amber it was difficult because she, you know, this is not a place for toddlers to be toddling about, is it? A hospital
ward.
So
I think I just waited with you for like 3 hours, didn't I? And then Amber was exhausted.
Yeah, and then you went, and then I was just really emotional. Like I just was so worried about the baby. But then anyway, eventually I got to see a doctor. And he was just like the loveliest person ever, and he did me an ultrasound straight away. He was like, I've got kids, I can't imagine how nervous you are. And he showed me the baby, a heartbeat, everything. Yeah, it was amazing. So then, I basically just stayed in for days, didn't I? They were just doing tests. They couldn't do the main test that they wanted to do, which I think was a CT scan. If you like, he was like trying to explain to me, like if it's an emergency, like a car crash, you come in, you need a scan. They're going to do it whether you're pregnant or not, because the risk to the baby is like minimal, or like may not even be any at all, I don't know, but there is enough risk that they don't do it unless they, you know, it's an emergency. So they kept me in, you know, on fluid and everything like that, and then they were doing tests.
You weren't eating either, really?
No, I wasn't eating, and then that's why I was worried for the baby as well, because I was like, by day like 2 or 3, I was like, I haven't really eaten in like a long time. I don't know how this baby's going to survive. So they were like, yeah, anyway, they were just like hydrating me with fluids and everything. And then they prepped me for surgery because they couldn't find anything, but I was still in pain. And then eventually the pain just went. It was so strange. And I find stuff like that really hard because it gives me a lot of health anxiety when there's no answer and there's no explanation. You know, to be in so much pain, to pass out, to be vomiting, to need to go in an ambulance, and then at the end of the day have no answer why. It made me feel really anxious, didn't it, for a long time, that it was going to keep happening and it was going to happen again. I just didn't want to be in that position again. But the doctors were so amazing, and the surgical team like spent ages with me. They like drew out the bowels and they drew out my kidney, and they were like, it could be so many things. There are so many things in that area.
Because they were going to give you an investigative surgery, weren't they? Like keyhole kind of thing,
but
just
again,
to have a look what it could be.
Yeah, with being pregnant, you just don't want to do stuff like that if you don't need to. So the fact that I was feeling better, I was like, I'd rather leave it. And by like 7 days after basically it happened, I was out of hospital before then, but I still felt fragile, didn't I, for a while? And then
and then the morning sickness came back.
And then the morning sickness came back, didn't it? Didn't it? Just to knock me off my feet again. So
it is tough, isn't it? I think it's taking the small win, because it's really tough not knowing what happened. But it's taking the small win that when you were pregnant, you didn't have to have surgery, you didn't have to have.
And it was not anything to do with the baby. Like when he was showing me the baby on the ultrasound, I was so emotional, and he could tell.
I wasn't there for that, but yeah.
No, it was just so. Yeah, it was just so anxiety inducing, and to see the baby on there, and to hear the heartbeat, I was just like a mess. I was just like so thankful that the baby was okay. You know, that's all that mattered. But yeah, funnily enough, before we ever started on social media, so about 7-8 years ago,
we've been together
literally
for like 4 months. I think.
We've been together 8 years, so it was basically 8 years ago. Yeah, because
it got me out of a Halloween party.
Yeah. Yeah,
Halloween.
it was. It was like you and Matt.
You convinced me to go to this Halloween party, and I was like, I really don't want to go.
Yeah,
I really
you're
don't want to go. But I've got a new girlfriend.
I've got to go.
So I've got to go. I've got to make effort.
We all know he doesn't.
And then I feel like, and I regretted obviously ever saying something, because you ended up in hospital for 4 days. So I was like, okay, I didn't mean for this to happen. I would have rather have gone to the Halloween party.
Literally. About 8 years ago, a really similar thing happened. So this is why it scared me, and I thought, and I still am thinking, maybe there is something deeper, because these things can happen. And kind of, I know, like, I can't remember what they said, but it was something like kidney stones or something that can happen and then kind of go away for years and years and then come back. Or like bowel issues or whatever.
Yeah, the thing is you've got a bowel that twists.
Yeah, a twisted bowel, because it like came on really quickly. It could be a twisted bowel. But my mum's friend is like a specialist in like that area. So I'm going to see him on ice soon and just have a chat with him. Like I can't obviously do anything investigative whilst pregnant, and I wouldn't want to anyway, but I just want to chat to someone and kind of put my mind at rest a bit. That, I don't know, just kind of chat about the options and chat about things, but you can't really live in fear of like it happening again, because it might happen again, but it also might not happen again, and like there is, the unknown is just too scary to like kind of bother going there with your mind and just bother getting het up.
That's obviously easy
so much
for me to say. But I'm saying it's easy for me to say.
Yeah.
If it happens, it happens. But like,
look, we're both nervous. Like every time I get up and feel faint, we're both like,
oh yeah, for about 3 weeks afterwards.
Yeah.
I remember once we were back here.
Oh yeah.
And it was like 3 days.
You're so cute.
And I don't know what made, but you got out of bed. It didn't
in the middle of the night.
Say anything or anything. No. I just went, are you okay? Are you okay?
No, like literally James
just
was
like shot out.
Like shutting the stair gates at night so I didn't fall down the stairs if I, fainted on the way to the toilet and just boinged down the stairs. Yeah, and I didn't even stumble or anything. I just got up and walked to the toilet, and he literally sprung up. He was like, are you okay? Sit down. And that was it. Sit down. I was like...
I must have had a really bad dream, or I must have thought that you'd stumbled or looked a bit faint. And I was like, sit down.
I've got this.
Don't panic and sit down.
Panic and sit down. James, busted for a wee.
That was in the hotel room. It was definitely one of the situations when I was the one panicking, but shouting, "Don't panic!"
That is a horrible.
Well, like you weren't panicking, you were just lying there wondering what on earth had happened.
Exactly, I don't have a clue what had been going on. But that's a horrible situation. I would have been exactly the same on the receiving end of that situation, like you were. So nobody wants to be in that situation, seeing their partner on the floor.
No, it could have been worse. I thought you were going to start fitting, which is absolutely terrified.
Yeah, that's not, especially because I forgot it's because we've been to that appointment, and we were both a bit like, we knew my preeclampsia was bad, but we didn't know it was like that bad that they like, every time we go in, they see my notes, they're like, wow, you were really bad preeclampsia, didn't you? Gosh, they gave you that max sulfate to stop you having a seizure, and we're like,
they really pumped that into you.
They didn't tell me that at the time to keep me calm in labour, I'm assuming. Anyway, so that kind of ties on to what we were going to explain next, which was just, I briefly spoke about my appointments on my story, and loads of people just wanted to know a bit more about my consultant-led appointments this time. and everything like that, just because I think, you know, some people have either been in similar situations or people just like hearing, you know, about those things, and I'm exactly the same. I love hearing about stuff like that. It just makes, I don't know, I like knowledge is power, makes me feel good rather than like scared. So yeah, I thought we'd talk a bit about that. So we went to, so yeah, that one where we spoke to the midwife about the mag sulfate was my like normal 12 week.
Yeah.
And then a bit later on, I had my first consultant appointment. So we went to that and we were able to go together, which was really, really nice. Because I feel like with my dyslexia and just my general personality, I struggle to take in a lot of information at one time, and they speak really fast, don't they? A lot of the time they speak in all this like jargon, this medical jargon, and I'm there like, duh, and I get a bit too anxious to kind of ask questions about like what's that and what's that, and yeah, you're just very practical and good, so you take in a lot of information. So it was really nice having James there with me.
Start taking notes. Do you mind if I record this?
I
Just
know.
Look at my, what's it called?
Dictaphone.
Dictaphone.
Is that
I've
it?
got my dictaphone in the corner here.
I know, literally. That's what you feel like you want to do. Because you nod along and then you get out and you go, what was it again?
You should always take your mum though. Her being a GP, I feel like your mum would just take it all in and then explain it to you later.
I know, she would love that as well, knowing all the deets.
Yeah, she can go to the next one.
I try and explain it to her and I'm like, yeah, they said something about TS4.
Yeah, they said I had
Something?
these cells in my blood.
Anyway,
they were
so
positive.
we went to that. We saw like the consultant who was talking to me about my preeclampsia, and then we also saw a thyroid specialist, because I also had, after I had Amber, thyroid problems which lasted about a year after having Amber. So after I had Amber, a couple of weeks or a bit longer after I'd had her, I was diagnosed with overactive thyroid. So I had...
You were diagnosed with hyperthyroiditis.
Hyperthyroid at the beginning, and then as it went on,
because it was going like that.
it was up and down. It was pregnancy related, so it was pregnancy hyperthyroiditis or something. And yeah, I essentially went to the hospital with, like, I was sweating loads. It was all things that I was putting down to being a new mum. I was like, I'm postpartum, like this is just what it's like you sweat loads, you've got the night sweats, but I was like, get 3 outfits a day, like
sleeping on towels,
sleeping on towels for weeks, and my heart was really fast, and like I was really like, even though I was tired from being up all night, I was like cleaning the house, I was like frantic, and I was like losing weight even though I'd literally just had a baby, and I was like, yeah, it was all a bit kind of strange. And then when I started having heart palpitations, I thought, right, better go to the doctors, because that's definitely not like a postpartum thing at all. So I went, I had really high thyroid, and then they like monitored me for my thyroid, like every now and then it was going up and down and up and down, and it was just like it couldn't regulate itself. So yeah, that was basically can happen after pregnancy. So many things can happen after pregnancy, but yeah, it was well monitored, and then after a year pretty much evened itself out, and now when I get it checked, like I did the other day when they checked it for me, it was like completely normal, so that's good. But I do have a family history of Graves' disease, which I know we've spoken about. I think we spoke about my thyroid stuff on here.
Yeah, we did.
Sorry, you're literally like silent.
That's alright, I'm feeling quite tired on this one, so I'm chilled.
You're enjoying just sitting back.
I'll try not to nod off.
My family's got a history of Graves' disease, and so anyway, they seemed concerned about my thyroid within the pregnancy more so than the preeclampsia, which was almost reassuring, because they were quite happy with the stage that I got preeclampsia at. The earlier you get preeclampsia, the more likely, I guess, the more time almost you've got to get it in the next pregnancy, if you get me. So I had I got diagnosed with preeclampsia on the day that I went into labour, which was at 40 weeks with Amber. So like usually it happens later on in the second pregnancy. So I think they're thinking that, you know, the baby will probably be coming or have come by then, but it's also confusing.
Carry on. No, carry on.
No, you go.
I was going to say, I think it'll be really interesting kind of when you get to kind of 38, 39 weeks, where the consultants push for a C-section, just to obviously not risk that, because you have preeclampsia right at the end, where they kind of come 39 weeks, they'll be like, oh, maybe we could book in a C-section so that you don't have to risk it. And then,
I bet some of you have had preeclampsia the first time and had, like, I would love to hear anyone's experiences with that, because I think it would probably depend on like how the blood pressure goes and stuff, because my blood pressure was going up for like weeks, and like there was, but
does it naturally go up, or?
Yeah, well, it will, because you're like, you've got
more blood.
Got more blood. You're kind of heavier. You it's bound to go up a bit, but it was kind of going up and up and up with this. And I did go into hospital twice towards the end of my pregnancy with like flashing lights, and I was getting tested for preeclampsia. It wasn't
Yeah.
We were kind of thinking, I don't know why, we just kind of felt like it was going to come on. My parents were taking...
specifically preeclampsia?
Yeah, well,
we knew about it, didn't we?
Well, only because it's serious, and my
Yeah.
dad was like really worried about it, because my
Yeah.
parents are GPs, so they were kind of like very worried about the preeclampsia, and they were taking my blood pressure every day, literally, and testing my urine as well, which is literally the ways you test it: high blood pressure and protein in your urine. And there was no protein in my urine, which is kind of like the finalising one. Until that midwife came, and
for the home birth.
But then it kind of shot, she said, it must have come on so quickly, because it came on, and then by the time I was in hospital, it was like really bad, and like I had a lot of protein in my urine, I had a lot of whatever. But thankfully, I was in hospital in the best place I could have been, where they put all that stuff, mag sulfate or whatever they called it, in my body and regulated everything.
You, so you were there, you were ready.
Gave me an epidural that completely set me up. I think they gave me enough epidural, we think now, to have a C-section, because when I've spoken to...
Your parents especially.
Yeah.
We came out of hospital, your parents picked me up from hospital the next day after Amber was born, and your parents were like, we were convinced she was going to have a C-section. We're so surprised. And then we realised that's why you had such a strong epidural,
because they were...
that you could have an emergency C-section if needed.
That's like, not common, I don't know if it's common or not, but it's something, because they want to get the baby out. The only cure... Yeah, see if I was waking up. The only cure for preeclampsia is getting the baby out, so they were prepping to have to get the baby out, it makes sense. Anyway.
Oh, she hasn't.
So...
We've got 5 minutes until your jabs.
Oh,
Just
okay.
to let you know.
I've got to leave for another doctor's appointment today to have my jabs that you meant to have in pregnancy.
Not being too rude, I'm just
We've
getting
got
Amber.
5
She's
minutes.
on the sound, but I wanted to look at her. Carry on.
Well, should we wrap it up with that?
We can wrap it up. We can wrap it up quickly by just saying also on this topic of health to make sure you check your keep on top of your bowel problems and your poos. My mum was diagnosed with bowel cancer 4 weeks ago-ish now.
Whilst we weren't online, it was.
Yeah, kind of during our time off.
Yeah.
So that was obviously extremely worrying and sad and
that was a really hard time.
difficult time. But luckily, she managed to have surgery very quickly, which was a really positive result from that. And now she's going through chemotherapy just to kind of err on the safe side. But we're hoping that it's all looking really positive, even though she's struggling with the chemotherapy.
She's staying really positive.
But
one thing when we speak to her about it is that she, is keen to tell everyone to a word from James's mum.
Don't be embarrassed about your bowel problems.
Don't be embarrassed about your bowel problems, and if there's any change in your bowel movement that is not normal for you, go and get it checked out. I am awful for that. I leave everything, I don't want to pester the doctor. I don't want to, be that nuisance. But be that nuisance. If something's wrong, if something's unusual, go to the doctor. And that is what we wanted to share from that, wasn't it? On the topic of like health and the topic of all that. So yeah, that was something that was really hard during our time off as well. But it feels in a really positive place.
It does feel
now.
My mum is...
She's a rock. She is so positive.
She's feeling rubbish, but she kind
is.
Just is keeping going.
We keep laughing because it kind of has... It's like she's got the first trimester, like I've just come out the first trimester, and a lot of her symptoms are like nausea and extreme tiredness. She's there like, oh, I've got first trimester again. But so much worse because you get just other things as well with it. But she's been feeling better the past 2 days, so we're feeling really hopeful from that, aren't we?
She only went to the doctor because she saw all the information on...
in the style.
I forgot her name, unfortunately, but Bowel Babe.
Yeah, Bowel Babe, Dame Deborah.
Who sadly recently died, that's it. But that's the only reason that she went to her doctor, because of all the awareness that, was brought about because of that. So we're just trying to bring about a little bit more awareness.
Well, that was amazing, wasn't it? And I think any time you can is a positive. So
it's a weird one, because you don't want to terrify yourself by Googling your symptoms if you've just got like a little headache. But I think changes in bowel... Because it's something that a lot of people are embarrassed about, and there's no need to be.
Definitely. 100% agree with that. So yeah, we will keep you up to date now. Now we're kind of like back vlogging as we usually are and uploading regularly. We'll be keeping you up to date with all the pregnancy things, all the appointments and everything like that. But essentially everything's on track, everything's fine with everything, and I'm feeling really well looked after by everyone that I've been to see. And you.
Thank you.
I'm feeling the best looked after by you. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I'm off to get my whooping cough jab, I think it is.
Woo! So you don't have a whoop.
A whooping cough. Whoop whoop. Thank you guys for watching. We hope you enjoyed. And we will see you very soon in the next video.
See you in the next video. Bye guys.
Mwah.